Listen to me carefully. Gratitude is not just saying a thank you. Gratitude is a mindset. It's the way you see your life. Some of you wake up in the morning and the first thing you see is what's missing. What's wrong, what you don't have. But if you can change one thought, if you can see what you do have, what's already working, what's already beautiful in your life, your entire reality changes. You don't need a new job, a new house, or a new car to feel rich. You need gratitude, because gratitude turns what you have into enough. Gratitude is a secret that will stop you from complaining and start you appreciating. And once you appreciate, you elevate. Gratitude doesn't ignore the struggle. It empowers you through it. Because when you're thankful for the little things, you position yourself to receive greater things. Change your thoughts to gratitude and you change your life. One thought at a time. When you talk about gratitude shifting your perspective, you are talking about a complete change in the way you see life. Most people wake up in the morning and the first thought that comes in their head is what they don't have. They look around their room and say, I wish I had a bigger house. They get into their car and say, I wish I had a newer model. They go to work and say, I wish I had a better job. And day after day, that becomes their reality. The lens through which they view the world is negative. And so no matter how many blessings they have, no matter how much good surrounds them, they can't see it because their focus is locked on the missing pieces. But when you step into gratitude, you take the same life, the same circumstances, the same environment, and you begin to see it in a whole new light. That's what shifting perspective means. It's not about the world changing. It's about you changing how you see the world. Think about it. Two people can walk into the same situation, and one sees opportunity while the other sees disaster. One person sees a rainy day and says, this is terrible. Can't go outside. I can't do anything fun. The other person looks at that same rain and says, this is beautiful. This rain is watering the earth, feeding the plants, giving us life. The difference is not in the rain. The difference is in the perspective. Gratitude is that lens that makes you see what's right instead of what's wrong, what's possible instead of what's impossible. It's the same life, but with a different set of eyes. When you start training your mind to be grateful, you stop letting circumstances control your emotions. Because gratitude is a choice. You can choose to focus on the negative, or you can choose to see the gift in every situation. Let me give you an example. You might be stuck in traffic on your way to work. Most people will get frustrated, honk their horns, curse under their breath, and ruin their whole mood. But gratitude shifts your perspective. Gratitude says, yes, I'm in traffic, but I have a car to drive. I have a job to go to. I have air conditioning keeping me comfortable. I have music playing to keep me company. That's a whole different way of thinking. And that one thought can change how you experience your entire day. Gratitude is powerful because it doesn't just make you feel good in the moment. It rewires your brain over time. Studies have shown that when you practice gratitude consistently, your brain literally begins to form new neural pathways. Your default thinking starts to shift from negativity to positivity. You begin to automatically look for what's good instead of what's missing. That's why I say gratitude shifts your perspective. It literally transforms the way your mind processes life. You go from scarcity to abundance, from lack to fullness, from fear to faith. And once your perspective changes, your life follows. I remember hearing a story about a man who had lost his job. For weeks he was down, depressed, frustrated, telling himself life was unfair. But then he started writing down 3 things he was grateful for every morning. At first it was hard. He didn't feel grateful, but he forced himself to do it anyway. He wrote things like, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the food I have to eat. Slowly, his mindset shifted. Instead of waking up and thinking, I don't have a job, he woke up and thought, I have strength, I have love, I have resources. And because his perspective shifted, his energy changed. And when his energy changed, opportunities started showing up. He eventually found a new job, better than the one he lost. Gratitude didn't give him the job, but it gave him the mindset that attracted the job. This is what I need you to understand. Your perspective shapes your reality. If you walk around seeing everything through a lens of lack, you will live in lack. If you walk around seeing everything through a lens of gratitude, you will live in abundance. Gratitude doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means you choose to see the perfection in the imperfection. It means you choose to focus on what's working instead of obsessing over what's broken. And that shift alone can change everything about how you live. When you're grateful, even the challenges look different. Instead of saying, oh, why is this happening to me? You start saying, what is this teaching me? Instead of seeing failure as the end, you see it as a lesson. Instead of seeing rejection as a curse, you see it as redirection. Gratitude helps you understand that everything has a purpose. And even the hard seasons carry blessings if you're willing to look for them. This mindset keeps you from giving up when life gets tough because you realize there's something to be thankful for even in the struggle. Let's take relationships, for example. If you always look at what your partner isn't doing, if you always focus on their flaws, you'll never be satisfied. But if you start focusing on what they are doing right, if you start appreciating the little thing, like the way they smile at you, the way they support you, the way they care in their own way, your relationship transforms. Nothing about the person has changed. What changed was your perspective. Gratitude has the power to turn frustration into appreciation, distance into closeness, weakness into strength. The same thing applies to your career, your dreams, your everyday grind. Some people look at the hard work required and say, oh, this is too much, I can't do it. Others look at the same hard work and say, I'm grateful I have the chance to grow. I'm grateful I have the ability to improve. I'm grateful I get to chase my dreams while others don't even have the opportunity. Gratitude makes you see effort as a privilege, not a punishment. And that shift in thinking is what separates the people who quit from the people who succeed. Gratitude also changes how you see yourself. So many of you beat yourself up every single day because you're not where you want to be yet. You look in the mirror and only see the flaws, but gratitude makes you see the progress. Gratitude makes you thankful for how far you've come instead of angry about how far you still have to go. And when you learn to appreciate your own journey, you give yourself the strength to keep moving forward. That's why perspective is everything. If you see yourself as a failure, you'll quit. But if you see yourself as a work in progress and you're grateful for every small step, you'll keep going until you get there. So here's the challenge. I want you to catch yourself the next time you start to complain. The next time you say, I don't have this, I don't have that. I want you to stop and flip it. Ask yourself, oh, what do I have right now that I can be grateful for? You'll be surprised how quickly your mood changes. That's the shift I'm talking about. Gratitude doesn't deny the reality of your struggles. It simply refuses to let the struggles blind you to your blessings. Gratitude shifts your perspective because it forces you to slow down and notice the good that's already in front of you. And once you start noticing, you can't stop. The more you see, the more you appreciate. The more you appreciate, the more you attract. And the more you attract, the more your life begins to align with the very things you're thankful for. That's the power of gratitude. It doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you live better. It changes the way you see everything. And when you change the way you see everything, everything changes. Gratitude creates joy in a way nothing else can. A lot of people are chasing happiness like it's something they can buy, something they can earn once they get enough money, enough fame, enough success. They think, if I could just get that promotion, if I could just buy that car, if I could just live in that house, then I'll finally be happy. But what they don't realize is happiness isn't waiting for them in some future event, Happiness is not in the next paycheck, the next relationship, the next achievement. Happiness is in gratitude. Because gratitude makes you see the value in what you already have. Gratitude says, I might not have everything I want, but I already have more than enough to be thankful for. And when you can truly say that, when you can truly feel that, joy comes naturally. It's not manufactured, it's not temporary, it's not dependent on circumstances. It's real. Think about it. The richest people in the world still suffer from unhappiness. They have millions of dollars, but they can't sleep at night. They got cars, houses, fame, influence, but they're still miserable. Why? Because joy doesn't come from possession. Joy comes from perspective. You could have someone with far less. Maybe they don't have much money. Maybe they don't have a fancy house. But if they live with gratitude, if they wake up each day and say, thank you for this day, Thank you for my family. Thank you for my health. They radiate joy that money can't buy. Gratitude is the great equalizer. It gives the poor man peace that the rich man might never find if he's ungrateful. When you walk in gratitude, your whole spirit changes. Joy is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to focus on the part of reality that gives you life. Maybe your life is hard right now. Maybe you've got bills piling up. Maybe you've got stress at work. Maybe you've got relationships that feel broken. Gratitude doesn't deny that those things are happening. What gratitude does is it reminds you that even in the middle of all that, there are still things worth celebrating. You still have breath in your lungs. You still have a chance to keep fighting. You still have moments of beauty, even if they're small. And if you can hold on to those things, you can still smile in the storm. That's what gratitude does. It creates joy even when the situation doesn't look joyful. Joy created by gratitude is sustainable. Happiness that depends on external conditions is fragile. It can be broken in an instant by a bad phone call, a rough day, or one piece of bad news. But joy that comes from gratitude is steady because it's built on appreciation, not acquisition. When you're grateful, you understand that even when one thing goes wrong, there are still 100 things going right. You don't collapse under the weight of one disappointment because you've trained yourself to see the blessings all around you. That's why grateful people seem to carry a lightness about them. They're not weighed down by negativity the same way because gratitude gives them a source of joy that nothing external can take away. I'll give you an example. Imagine two people lose their jobs. One person is devastated, angry, bitter, and they can't see past the loss. The other person, yes, they're upset, but they say, I'm grateful I had that job as long as I did. I'm grateful for the experience, for the lessons I learned. I'm grateful that I still have my skills. I still have my network. I still have opportunities ahead of me. That second person is going to walk through that setback with joy. Not because losing a job is fun, but because gratitude gave them the ability to see beyond the pain into the possibility. Joy is not the absence of problems. Joy is the presence of gratitude. Joy rooted in gratitude also changes the way you interact with people. You ever notice how some people walk into a room and instantly lift the energy while others seem to drag it down? The difference is gratitude. Grateful people carry joy inside them, and that joy spills over into their conversations, their actions, their presence. They laugh more easily. They smile more often. They encourage instead of criticize. People are drawn to them because gratitude gives them a contagious spirit. On the other hand, people who lack gratitude are often bitter, negative, and critical. They drain others because they can't see any good in their lives, and so they can't offer any good to others. Gratitude not only creates joy for you, but it spreads joy to everyone around you. Another powerful thing about gratitude is that it helps you enjoy the present moment. So many people are either stuck in the past, regretting what happened, or anxious about the future, worrying about what might come. But gratitude roots you in the now. It says, this moment right here has value. This meal in front of me is a blessing. This conversation I'm having is a gift. This sunrise, this laughter, this opportunity is worth appreciating. When you practice gratitude, you stop waiting for joy to come someday. You start experiencing it today. And the more present you are, the more joyful you become because you're not missing the beauty that's right in front of you. Joy from gratitude also builds resilience. Life will knock you down. That's a guarantee. But when you have gratitude in your heart, you don't stay down. You get back up because you can see reasons to keep going. You can say, yes, I failed, but I'm grateful for the chance to learn. Yes, I'm tired, but I'm grateful I still have breath to fight another day. Yes, it's hard, but I'm grateful for the strength I didn't even know I had. That gratitude fuels joy, and that joy becomes your strength. Without gratitude, the weight of setbacks can crush you. With gratitude, setbacks become stepping stones. Here's something else. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Think about a simple family dinner. If you sit down and eat without gratitude, it's just food on a table. But if you pause and think, I'm grateful for the hands that prepared this. I'm grateful for the people sitting with me. I'm grateful that I have enough to eat when so many don't. Suddenly that dinner becomes sacred. Gratitude makes you savor things you would normally overlook. And that savoring creates joy. Life becomes richer, deeper, more meaningful. That's why some of the happiest people in the world are not the ones with the most, but the ones who are most grateful. Gratitude also creates joy because it shifts your focus from comparisons to contentment. One of the biggest joy killers is constantly measuring yourself against others. You scroll on social media and see someone with a better car, a bigger house, a nicer vacation, and suddenly your own life feels inadequate. But gratitude stops that spiral. Gratitude says, I don't need what they have because I already have enough. Gratitude anchors you in contentment, and from contentment comes joy. You stop chasing someone else's dream and start celebrating your own reality, and that freedom to love your life as it is. That's joy in its purest form. I want you to understand this. Joy is not something you wait for, it's something you create. And the tool to create it is gratitude. You can choose to see the blessings in your life right now. You can choose to appreciate the people who love you, the progress you've made, the opportunities in front of you. You can choose to be thankful for the little things: a smile, a laugh, a sunrise, a warm bed, a kind word. When you make that choice consistently, joy becomes your default setting. Not because life is perfect, but because you trained yourself to see the beauty within. At the end of the day, joy is not about what you have. It's about how you see what you have. Gratitude is the key that unlocks it. You don't need to wait until you achieve more, own more, or prove more. You can have joy right now, in this moment, if you choose to be grateful. And once you choose gratitude, joy will follow you wherever you go, through every season, through every struggle, through every success. Gratitude creates joy, and that joy will change the way you experience your entire life. Gratitude fuels resilience in a way that nothing else can. When life hits you, and it will when the storms come, when the setbacks pile up, when you feel like you're at the end of your rope, gratitude is the anchor that keeps you from drifting away. Resilience is about the ability to keep moving, to bounce back, to not quit when everything inside of you wants to give up. And you can't build that kind of resilience just by willpower or toughness alone. You need a reason to keep going. You need a perspective that says, even in the middle of this pain, there's something in here worth holding on to. That perspective is gratitude. Gratitude is what allows you to see light in the darkest seasons, to find strength when you feel weak, to rise again when you've fallen down. Think about it. The people who give up the quickest are usually the ones who can't see anything good in their situation. They only see the loss, the pain, the difficulty, the obstacles, and so they tell themselves there's no point in trying anymore. But the people who endure, the people who keep fighting, those are the ones who can look at the same situation and say, yes, it hurts, but I'm thankful for the lesson. Yes, it's tough, but I'm thankful I still have a chance. Yes, I lost something, but I didn't lose everything. I still have something left, and I'm grateful for that. Gratitude becomes their fuel. Instead of focusing on what they lost, they focus on what they still have. Instead of dwelling a setback, they focus on the opportunity to grow. That shift in mindset is what keeps them resilient. Resilience is not about pretending life isn't hard. It's not about smiling when you feel broken. It's about deciding to keep going despite the difficulty, and gratitude gives you the strength to make that decision. When you're grateful, you can look at pain to see purpose. You can look at failure and still see progress. You can look at uncertainty and still see possibility. That doesn't make the challenge disappear, but it changes the way you carry it. Gratitude lightens the load, and when the load feels lighter, you can keep walking longer. Let me give you a real example. Imagine an athlete training for the biggest competition of their life. They wake up at 5 a.m. They push their body past its limits. They deal with injuries, exhaustion, setbacks. What keeps them going? For some, it's gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to compete. Gratitude for the body they've been given. Gratitude for the chance to chase a dream when so many never even get the chance. That gratitude turns pain into fuel. It makes the long hours worth it. It turns the setbacks into stepbacks into stepping stones. And that's why you'll often hear athletes say, I'm thankful for the struggle because it made me stronger. Gratitude didn't take the struggle away, but it gave them resilience to get through it. It's the same in everyday life. When you lose a job, gratitude says, I'm thankful I still have the skills I learned. I'm thankful I have another chance to reinvent myself. When you go through heartbreak, Gratitude says, I'm thankful I experienced love. I'm thankful for the lessons this taught me. I'm thankful I now know what I want and what I don't want. When you face illness, gratitude says, I'm thankful for the doctors. I'm thankful for the support. I'm thankful for the moments I still get to live. That perspective doesn't erase the pain, but it gives you a reason to endure it. That's resilience. Gratitude fuels resilience because it keeps your focus on possibility instead of despair. If all you see is what's wrong, you will eventually break under the weight of it. But if you can find even one thing to be thankful for, that one thing becomes a spark of hope, and hope is powerful. Hope gives you the strength to try again, to get back up, to keep believing. Gratitude creates that hope, and hope produces resilience. Here's something powerful. Gratitude turns setbacks into setup. When you're grateful, you stop seeing failure as the end of the road. You start seeing it as preparation. You say, I may not have won this time, but I'm grateful for what I learned. That lesson is going to help me win next time. That attitude makes you unstoppable. Because setbacks are no longer dead ends. They become detours that still move you forward. Without gratitude, failure feels like defeat. With gratitude, failure feels like growth. And that's what resilience is, growth through struggle. Gratitude also fuels resilience because it shifts your energy. Have you ever noticed how complaining drains you? The more you focus on what's wrong, the heavier you feel. You lose motivation, you lose confidence, you lose strength. But when you start listing things you're grateful for, your energy rises. You start feeling lighter, stronger, more capable. That energy is what keeps you moving through tough times. You can't be resilient if you're constantly drained, and gratitude is the recharge that gives you back your strength. Another way gratitude builds resilience is by keeping you connected to your why. When you're grateful, you remember what matters. You remember why you started. You remember who you're fighting for. You remember the blessings that already surround you. And when you're rooted in that, quitting stops being an option. For example, a parent going through hard times might say, I'm grateful for my children. They're my reason to keep pushing. That gratitude gives them resilience to work 2 jobs, to sacrifice, to keep going even when they're exhausted. Gratitude makes your why stronger, and a stronger why will carry you through almost any how. It's also important to understand that gratitude doesn't just help in big life events. It builds resilience in the small, everyday struggles too. Maybe you had a bad day at work. Maybe someone treated you unfairly. Maybe things didn't go the way you hoped. Gratitude helps you bounce back from those small hits so they don't pile up and break you. You can say, yeah, today was rough, but I'm grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for the chance to try again tomorrow. That daily resilience is what keeps you moving forward consistently, and consistency is what creates lasting success. Gratitude even helps in the deepest moments of loss. When people lose loved ones, grief can feel overwhelming, like it will drown you. But gratitude gives you a lifeline. Gratitude says, I'm thankful for the time I had with them. I'm thankful for the memories, for the love, for the impact they left on my life. That gratitude doesn't take the grief away, but it gives you the resilience to carry it. You don't collapse under the weight of loss because gratitude reminds you that love leaves something behind even after someone is gone. That reminder gives you strength to keep living, to keep honoring, to keep moving forward. Resilience is not about never falling down. It's about always getting back up. Gratitude is what makes you get up one more time. Gratitude whispers you still have something left. You still have reasons to fight. You still have blessings to count. And when you hear that, you can take another step even when you're tired. You can keep believing even when you're discouraged. You can keep fighting even when you feel weak. Gratitude is the voice inside that refuses to let you quit. At the end of the day, resilience is about survival and growth. And gratitude gives you both. Gratitude keeps you alive in the fight because it gives you hope, energy, and perspective. Gratitude also helps you grow in the fight because it turns struggles into lessons, failures into opportunity, and pain into purpose. Without gratitude, life's challenges can break you. With gratitude, life's challenges can make you. Gratitude doesn't just fuel resilience, it is resilience in motion. And here's the truth. You don't need everything to go right in order to be resilient. You just need enough gratitude to see that you still have something to hold on to. You don't need a perfect life. You just need the perspective to say, even now, even here, I'm thankful. That's the power of gratitude. It's the fuel that keeps your fire burning when the winds of life try to blow it out. It's the strength that keeps you moving when the road feels impossible. It's the resilience that helps you rise again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Gratitude builds relationships in ways that nothing else can. If you really think about it, every connection in your life, your family, your friends, your co-workers, your partner, is either strengthened or weakened based on whether gratitude exists in that space. The truth is people want to feel seen. People want to feel valued. People want to feel appreciated. You can love someone deeply, but if you never express gratitude for them, they won't feel that love. On the other hand, even a small expression of thankfulness can transform a relationship, can heal wounds, can create bonds that last a lifetime. Gratitude is the glue that holds people together because it reminds them that they matter, that their presence, their efforts, their sacrifices are not being overlooked. Think about it in your own life. When was the last time somebody genuinely told you, appreciate you, appreciate you? Maybe it was a parent thanking you for something small. Maybe it was a coworker acknowledging your hard work. Maybe it was a friend noticing your effort. Didn't it lift your spirit? Didn't it make you feel valued? That's the power of gratitude. It communicates worth in a way nothing else can. And when people feel valued, they give more of themselves. They open up. They trust more. They invest more in the relationship. Gratitude becomes a cycle of giving and receiving that strengthens the bond over time. On the flip side, think about relationships that fell apart not because of betrayal or huge mistakes, but simply because of neglect. People stopped saying a thank you. They stopped noticing the small acts of love and service. They started taking each other for granted. And over time, that absence of gratitude created resentment, distance, and eventually disconnection. That's how powerful gratitude is. It can either build or break relationships depending on whether it's present. Gratitude in relationships is not just about words, it's about attitude. When you wake up every day grateful for your partner, you treat them differently. You don't nitpick every flaw. You don't magnify every shortcoming because your heart is focused on appreciation. You notice the effort they put in, the little things they do, the qualities that make them special. And when you notice those things, you're more likely to celebrate them, more likely to say a thank you, more likely to love them in a way that makes them feel secure. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what they're not to what they are. And that perspective keeps relationships alive. Parents and children are another powerful example. A child who grows up hearing, I'm proud of you, I'm grateful for you, I appreciate who you are, is going to develop confidence, security, and love. That child will be resilient in the world because gratitude built them up from the inside. But a child who never hears gratitude, who only hears criticism, who feels invisible, will often carry insecurity, doubt, and pain into adulthood. The presence or absence of gratitude in those formative relationships can literally shape the course of someone's life. Even in the workplace, gratitude changes everything. An employee who feels unappreciated will eventually burn out, disengage, or leave. But an employee who feels valued, who hears a thank you for their contribution, who knows their work is making a difference, will give more, stay longer, and build loyalty. Teams that practice gratitude are stronger, more collaborative, and more innovative because gratitude creates trust. It creates an environment where people want to contribute, where they feel safe to share ideas, where they feel like they belong. Gratitude turns coworkers into a family working toward the same mission. Friendships thrive on gratitude as well. A true friend is not just someone who hangs out with you, but someone who appreciates you. Someone who notices when you're struggling, who thanks you for being there, who acknowledges your presence in their life. Gratitude in friendships deepens the connection because it reassures both people that the relationship isn't one-sided. It's mutual care, mutual appreciation. Gratitude reminds us that friendship is not about what we get, but about what we give and acknowledge in each other. One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is its ability to heal broken relationships. Sometimes all it takes is sincere, I'm grateful for you to break down walls of bitterness. Gratitude has a softening effect. When someone feels appreciated, it disarms their anger. It lowers their defenses. It opens the door for reconciliation. That's why in conflict resolution, gratitude is such a powerful tool. Instead of only pointing out what went wrong, you balance it by pointing out what's still right. You remind the person of their value, even if mistakes were made. That kind of gratitude can transform enemies into allies, strangers into friends, wounded partner into reconciled lovers. Gratitude also builds relationships by creating memories. Think about the times you've celebrated milestones, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. What made those moments special wasn't the gifts or the decorations, but the gratitude expressed in those gatherings. Gratitude creates shared joy, and that shared joy becomes the memory that holds relationships together over time. Years later, people don't always remember the details of what was said or done, but they remember how they felt. Gratitude makes people feel loved, seen, and cherished, and those feelings create lasting bonds. Another way gratitude strengthens relationships is by breaking cycles of entitlement. When you live entitled, you start expecting people to serve you, to help you, to sacrifice for you without acknowledgement. And entitlement destroys relationships because it drains people without giving anything back. Gratitude is the opposite of entitlement. Gratitude says, I don't deserve this, but I appreciate it deeply. That humility builds respect, and respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Even strangers can be impacted by gratitude. A kind word to the cashier, a thank you to the waiter, a smile to someone holding the door. Those little acts of gratitude might seem small, but they create ripple. You never know what someone is going through. And your gratitude might be the only positive thing they hear that day. Those ripples build human connection in a world that often feels disconnected. Gratitude builds bridges where none existed before. Now think about long-term relationships, marriages, lifelong friendships, partnerships. The people who last are not the ones who never fight or never face challenges. They are the ones who consistently practice gratitude. They never stop saying a thank you. They never stop appreciating the small things. They never let familiarity turn to neglect. Gratitude keeps love fresh, keeps bonds strong, keeps people from drifting apart. Because at the end of the day, we all crave acknowledgement. We all crave appreciation. Gratitude meets that need and keeps relationships alive. Gratitude is also contagious. When you express it, others are inspired to express it back. In a family, when parents show gratitude to each other, children learn to do the same. In a workplace, when leaders practice gratitude, teams adopt that culture. In friendships, when one person expresses appreciation, the other feels encouraged to reciprocate. Gratitude multiplies itself, and that multiplication creates an environment where relationships thrive. Without gratitude, relationships become transactional. People do things for each other only out of obligation, not out of love. But with gratitude, relationships become transformational. People give out of joy, not duty. They serve each other not because they have to, but because they want to. Gratitude makes love visible. It puts words and actions to feelings that might otherwise remain hidden. And when love is visible, relationships grow stronger every single day. The bottom line is this: gratitude builds relationship because it communicates value. It tells the other person, I see you, I appreciate you, I don't take you for granted. And when people feel valued, they give the best of themselves. Gratitude creates a cycle of appreciation, connection, and trust that keeps relationships alive and thriving. If you want stronger bonds, if you want deeper love, if you want healthier connection, start with gratitude. Because gratitude doesn't just change how you see your relationships, it changes how you build them, how you nurture them, and how you sustain them for life. When we talk about gratitude, one of the most overlooked but life-changing practices is expressing gratitude to others. Too often, we assume people know how much we appreciate them, but the reality is, they don't always know. A thank you left unspoken is a seed left unplanted. It holds potential, but until you put it into the soil, it will never grow into something beautiful. Gratitude toward others isn't just about politeness or manners. It's about connection, affirmation, and the kind of encouragement that can completely change the direction of someone's day or even their life. Imagine what happens when you take the time to acknowledge the people who have poured into you. helped you, supported you, or even just stood by you in silence. That expression of gratitude doesn't just lift them up, it changes you in the process. Think about the times in your own life when someone said a thank you. Not in a casual, offhand way, but in a genuine, heartfelt expression. Maybe it was a teacher who told you they appreciated your effort. Maybe it was a family member who reminded you how much they valued your presence. Maybe it was a friend who said, "I couldn't have gotten through this without you." Those moments stick with you because they validate your contribution, your work, and your existence. Gratitude, when expressed outwardly, has the power to breathe life into others, reminding them that what they do matters. And here's the beautiful thing, it creates a cycle. When you express gratitude, people feel inspired to do more, to give more, and to live in ways that continue the chain of positivity. There's a story of a young boy who grew up in a tough environment where love wasn't always spoken. His teachers would see his potential, but he never really heard it until one day a teacher stopped him after class and said, "You're special. Don't ever forget that." That one expression of gratitude for his effort gave him the courage to keep pushing forward. That's the power of saying thank you, of speaking life into others. Sometimes we underestimate how deeply our words can touch people. What might feel like a simple acknowledgement to you could be the encouragement someone else desperately needed to keep going. Gratitude can literally save lives. Now, let's take this deeper. When you express gratitude to others, you're not only helping them, you're helping yourself. Gratitude shifts your mindset from entitlement to appreciation. It takes your focus off what you don't have and puts it on what you do. By thanking others, you become more aware of how much support you really have in your life, and that awareness fills you with peace and humility. Too often, we think we're doing everything on our own, but when you stop and reflect, you realize there's always been someone standing with you, cheering for you, holding you up when you didn't even notice. Expressing gratitude is a way of honoring those people, acknowledging their presence, and reminding yourself that you're not alone in this journey. But here's where many of us struggle. We feel gratitude, but we don't express it. Maybe it feels uncomfortable. Maybe we assume people already know. Maybe we're so focused on the next challenge that we forget to pause and appreciate the people right beside us. That silence robs both us and them of a beautiful moment of connection. Think about it. When was the last time you told your parents how much their sacrifices mean to you? When was the last time you told your mentor, "I wouldn't be who I am without your guidance"? When was the last time you told a friend, "I appreciate how you always believed in me"? We leave these words unspoken, not realizing they could strengthen relationships, deepen bonds, and inspire greater love and trust. And it's not just about big, dramatic gestures. Sometimes the most powerful gratitude is in the small, everyday moments. Thanking the barista who remembers your coffee order, telling your coworker you appreciate their hard work, writing a quick note to a friend who lifted your spirits. These little acts ripple outward in ways you can't always see. You may not realize how much that barista needed to hear they're doing a great job, or how much that coworker needed recognition in the middle of a stressful week. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be genuine. Now, some might say, "Well, I don't really need to say thank you all the time. People know how I feel." But let me challenge that. Imagine a marriage where one partner assumes the other knows their love, but never actually says it. Over time, that silence creates distance, insecurity, and doubt. Gratitude is like fuel for relationships. It keeps the engine running smoothly. Without it, resentment and neglect begin to build. On the other hand, a simple "I appreciate you" can heal wounds, open hearts, and reignite connections. Gratitude builds bridges where walls once stood. And let's not forget the impact on teams and communities. In any group, whether it's a workplace, a family, or a circle of friends, gratitude is the glue that holds people together. Leaders who express genuine appreciation for their team members don't just get better performance. They build loyalty, trust, and a sense of shared purpose. Families who practice gratitude toward one another create environments where love and respect thrive. Communities that celebrate each other's contributions become stronger and more resilient. Gratitude isn't just an individual practice. It's a collective force that can transform entire cultures. One of the most incredible aspects of expressing gratitude to others is that it multiplies. Unlike resources that diminish when shared, gratitude grows stronger the more you give it away. When you thank someone, you encourage them to continue their kindness, which inspires them to pass it on to others. It creates a ripple effect where one small expression of gratitude can eventually touch countless lives. Imagine if every single person you encountered today left with the feeling that they mattered, that they were seen, that they were valued. What kind of world could we live in if gratitude became the norm instead of the exception? And let's not ignore the deeper spiritual dimension of gratitude. Many faith traditions emphasize giving thanks, not only to a higher power, but also to the people placed in our lives. Gratitude is an acknowledgement of connectedness, that none of us succeed alone, that we are all part of something bigger. By expressing gratitude to others, you're participating in a divine rhythm of giving and receiving. You're aligning yourself with a higher truth. That love, kindness, and acknowledgement are what sustain the human spirit. In the end, gratitude toward others is about leaving nothing unsaid. It's about making sure that the people who make a difference in your life know it, clearly, loudly, and often. Don't wait until it's too late to express appreciation. Too many times, people leave this world never hearing the words they deserve to hear. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing. Don't let that be your story. Use your words not while you can to speak life, encouragement, and gratitude into those around you. The power of gratitude is not just in feeling it. It's in expressing it. It's in saying it out loud, writing it down, showing it through action. Every time you express gratitude to others, you're planting seeds of hope, love, and resilience. And those seeds, once planted, will grow into trees that provide shade and fruit for generations to come. Gratitude expressed is gratitude multiplied. And gratitude multiplied is how we change lives. Not just our own, but the lives of everyone we touch. Gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling of saying, oh, thank you, when something nice happens. It is a way of living, a conscious decision to acknowledge and appreciate the blessings, opportunities, and even the struggles that life presents. When we develop a mindset of gratitude, it allows us to see the bigger picture of life and the role that every event plays in shaping who we are becoming. Gratitude teaches us that life is not just about what we get, but also about how we grow, how we respond, and how we transform through the process. One of the most profound truths about gratitude is that it transforms perspective. It gives us the power to reinterpret experiences that might otherwise feel overwhelming, frustrating, or even unbearable. When we look at those same moments through the lens of gratitude, they suddenly become lessons, opportunities for growth, or even blessings in disguise. That transformation in how we see things is where the real power of gratitude lies. Consider the challenges that come into your life. At first glance, they might feel like obstacles blocking your progress, setbacks holding you back, or even punishments for something you can't understand. Without gratitude, those challenges can overwhelm you, creating bitterness or frustration. But when you embrace gratitude, you shift the meaning. Instead of seeing an obstacle, you begin to see a stepping stone. Instead of being stuck in resentment, you look for the hidden gift in the trial. Gratitude forces you to ask a deeper question. What can I learn from this? How is it shaping me? What strength is being built inside of me through this hardship? That line of questioning allows you to extract value even from painful experiences. In this way, gratitude transforms not just your mood in the moment, but your long-term growth as a human being. Let's imagine two people go through the exact same difficult situation. Maybe both lose a job, both face rejection, or both struggle with a personal failure. One person, without gratitude, spirals into despair, complaining, and hopelessness. They only see what was taken away, what didn't work, and how unfair the situation feels. The other person with gratitude still feels the pain, but sees it differently. They recognize that losing the job may be painful, but also opens the door to new opportunities. They may see rejection as redirection. God is towards something better suited for them. Gratitude allows them to look back and say, oh, this experience, though tough, is actually helping me discover my true path. The difference between these two outcomes is not the situation, but the lens through which each person views it. That lens is gratitude, and it changes everything. Gratitude also has the power to transform relationships. When you consistently practice gratitude with the people in your life, family, friends, colleagues, you begin to see them not through the lens of their flaws or shortcomings, but through the lens of their contributions, their presence, and their support. Instead of focusing on what people didn't do for you, gratitude teaches you to focus on what they have done. Shift strengthens bonds, creates appreciation, and builds mutual respect. People respond positively when they feel appreciated, and gratitude becomes the fuel for deeper, more meaningful relationships. In contrast, when we lack gratitude, we take people for granted. We complain about what's missing, and we unknowingly push away those who are trying to support us. Gratitude keeps relationships alive, vibrant, and full of warmth. There's also the transformation gratitude brings to our daily outlook. Think about the way many people wake up in the morning. Without gratitude, it's easy to start the day already burdened. The alarm is annoying, work feels stressful, bills are due, and traffic will be frustrating. This mindset builds negativity before the day even starts. But imagine beginning your day with gratitude. Appreciating that you woke up, that you have another chance to live, breathe, love, and pursue your goals. Gratitude for simple things, the bed you slept in, the food on the table, the ability to move your body sets a foundation of positivity. Instead of starting the day in deficit mode, you begin it with abundance. And this mindset carries over into how you handle challenges throughout the day. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it equips you with the strength to face them with resilience and hope. Gratitude also transforms how we perceive success. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the race for more. More recognition, more possessions. Without gratitude, success becomes a never-ending chase. And no matter how much you achieve, it never feels enough. But gratitude allows you to pause and appreciate where you are, what you've accomplished, and the progress you've made. Gratitude shifts the focus from what's lacking to what's present, from what's missing to what's already in your hands. That shift doesn't mean you stop striving or growing. It simply means you pursue success from a place of abundance rather than deficiency. Instead of feeling desperate, you feel empowered. Instead of feeling empty, you feel fulfilled even as you aim higher. Another profound transformation gratitude brings is to our mental and emotional health. Research has shown time and again that gratitude reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. When you consistently train your mind to look for things to appreciate, you rewire your brain to focus on the positive. Gratitude becomes like a filter, blocking out some of the constant negativity and replacing it with recognition of blessing. People who practice gratitude often feel lighter, more hopeful, and more motivated. They are not ignoring reality. They are choosing to focus on the aspects of reality that give them strength rather than weakness. Gratitude helps regulate emotions, making us less reactive and more balanced. Over time, this emotional stability contributes to resilience, allowing us to bounce back from setbacks faster. Even physically, gratitude transforms us. Studies show that grateful people sleep better, have lower blood pressure, and enjoy stronger immune system. Because gratitude reduces stress hormones, calms the nervous system, and encourages healthy routines. When you go to bed with thoughts of gratitude instead of worry, your body rests more deeply. When you feel grateful, your body releases chemicals that support healing and well-being. Gratitude literally transforms not only your mind and soul, but also your body. The transformative power of gratitude also extends to vision and purpose. Many people feel lost in life because they focus so much on what's wrong that they can't see the direction forward. Gratitude shifts that by highlighting the good, the opportunities, the open doors, and the possibilities. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Gratitude asks, what is this teaching me? Instead of dwelling on what did I lose, gratitude asks, what can I gain from this? That new way of thinking allows you to create purpose from pain, mission from mistakes, and direction from difficulties. Gratitude doesn't just change your outlook, it changes your path. At the heart of all this is the truth that gratitude is not automatic, it's intentional. Life will always present us with reasons to complain, reasons to feel frustrated, and reasons to be discouraged. But gratitude is a choice to look deeper, to reinterpret, and to find meaning. The real transformation happens when you practice gratitude consistently, even when it's hard, even when it feels unnatural. Over time, it becomes second nature, and your entire world begins to shift. You see blessings in unexpected places, you find peace in uncertain times, and you create strength where others only see weakness. So the power of gratitude lies in its ability to transform everything it touches, challenges into opportunities, relationships into deeper connections, mournings into blessings, success into fulfillment, health into vitality, and pain into purpose. Gratitude doesn't change the circumstances of life, but it changes you. And when you change, your life changes. It only takes one thought, one conscious decision to say, I will choose gratitude. And from that single choice, a ripple effect begins that can change the entire trajectory of your life. Gratitude has a powerful way of transforming how we perceive setbacks and failures. And when we look at obstacles through the lens of thankfulness, we begin to see them not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. Life is not a straight line. It is full of twists, turns, and unexpected challenges that test our patience, character, and resilience. When these moments hit, the natural instinct for most people is to complain, to ask a why me, or to give in to discouragement. But gratitude shifts that perspective entirely. Instead of seeing challenges as unfair interruptions, gratitude invites us to recognize them as teachers that can shape us into stronger, wiser, and more capable individuals. Every great story of triumph carries a chapter of adversity, and it's gratitude that allows a person to turn those chapters of struggle into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Think about it. When you face a setback, a failed project, a lost opportunity, or a broken relationship, you can either dwell on the pain and frustration, or you can stop and ask yourself, oh, what can I learn from this? What blessing is hidden here? Gratitude doesn't erase the difficulty, but it rewires your mind to find meaning within the trial. Instead of getting stuck in bitterness, you move forward with a mindset that sees value in the process. Take, for instance, athletes who suffer major injuries. Some quit and let the injury define them, but others use gratitude as fuel. They say, I'm thankful this happened because it taught me discipline, patience, and a new way to train my body. That perspective doesn't happen naturally, it's chosen. And once chosen, it changes everything. One of the biggest gifts of gratitude in adversity is resilience. Gratitude keeps you grounded when life tries to knock you off your feet. If you can wake up every day and still say, I'm grateful I have breath in my lungs, grateful I have another chance to fight, grateful that I still have purpose, you can withstand storms that will crush most people. This mindset turns setbacks into setups. Failure is no longer final, but simply feedback. Every obstacle becomes a lesson wrapped in disguise. Gratitude helps you not only survive difficulties, but thrive, because you start to see pain as part of the process of progress. And when that realization clicks, you stop resisting challenges and begin embracing them. History is full of examples of people who turned adversity into greatness because they chose gratitude. Think of inventors who failed hundreds of times before creating something world-changing. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 1,000 times, he simply found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's gratitude at work. Instead of allowing frustration to paralyze him, he reframed failure as progress, each setback bringing him closer to the solution. Or consider leaders who faced rejection, loss, and hardship, yet chose to be thankful for the lessons those experiences taught them. They built resilience, developed empathy, and discovered purpose through their struggles, all because gratitude opened their eyes to hidden blessings. Gratitude also protects you from becoming bitter when things don't go your way. Many people carry resentment about the things that didn't work out in their lives. They stay stuck replaying disappointments, which drains their energy and clouds their vision for the future. Gratitude breaks that cycle. When you say a thank you for this challenge because I believe something greater is being prepared for me, you prevent negativity from taking root in your heart. Instead of bitterness, you cultivate hope. Instead of regret, you develop vision. You move forward instead of backward. Gratitude in the face of adversity becomes a shield that guards your spirit and keeps you focused on growth instead of defeat. Another powerful aspect of gratitude and challenges is that it deepens your appreciation for success. If everything came easy, victories will lose their meaning. But when you've had to fight, sweat, and push through difficulties, you value success more deeply. Gratitude during the struggle makes you savor the reward. A person who's been through dark valleys appreciates the sunlight more than someone who's only ever walked on smooth ground. Adversity gives you perspective, and gratitude ensures that you carry that perspective with joy instead of bitterness. This is why many successful people often thank their hardest seasons when they look back. They realize those trials were the very things that shaped their strength. Gratitude also builds patience. Challenges rarely resolve overnight, and it's easy to become frustrated when progress feels slow. But gratitude teaches you to trust the process. It helps you see the beauty of small victories along the way. Maybe you haven't reached your ultimate goal yet, but gratitude allows you to celebrate growth, even if it's just one step forward. That patience becomes a weapon in a world that demands instant results. When you can be thankful for the journey, you won't be as easily discouraged by delays. You'll keep pressing forward, knowing that every step has value, even if it's not the final destination. When gratitude becomes your response to adversity, you also inspire those around you. People are watching how you handle challenges. When they see you face difficulty without complaining, but instead with thankfulness and determination, it gives them hope for their own struggles. Gratitude is contagious. Your resilience can spark resilience in others. Your ability to turn setbacks into comebacks not only elevates your own life, but also becomes a light for others who are going through their storms. This ripple effect is one of the most beautiful aspects of gratitude. It doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those connected to you. On a deeper level, gratitude in adversity strengthens your faith. It reminds you that even in the darkest moments, there's still good to be found. It teaches you to trust that everything you go through has a purpose, even if you can't see it in the moment. Gratitude anchors you when life feels unstable, keeping you focused on hope and possibility instead of fear. This doesn't mean you won't feel pain or frustration, but gratitude ensures those emotions don't define you. Instead, you rise above them, carrying with you the unshakable belief that challenges are shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Ultimately, gratitude transforms adversity into growth by shifting the question from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me? That single thought changes your life. Every obstacle becomes a classroom. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes an invitation to grow. Gratitude rewires your story so that struggles are not wasted, but instead, they prepare you forward into wisdom, strength, and success. The power of gratitude in adversity is this. It doesn't just help you endure life's storms. It teaches you how to dance in the rain, to celebrate growth while in the middle of the struggle, and to emerge stronger than you ever imagined possible. Gratitude is not just a simple thank you or a polite phrase we say out of habit. It is one of the most powerful forces that can completely transform the way we live, the way we see ourselves, and the way we interact with the world around us. When we talk about gratitude as a practice, we're talking about more than acknowledging blessings. We're talking about reshaping the lens through which we view life. The last keynote, that gratitude multiplies blessings, is perhaps the most profound of all because it touches on universal truth. What we focus on expands. When we focus on lack, on what's wrong, on what we don't have, we invite more of those feelings into our lives. When we focus on what we do have, when we give thanks for the little things and the big things alike, we begin to notice more good. Life itself seems to open up new doors. Opportunities appear that we hadn't seen before, and we feel a sense of fulfillment that no material possession could ever provide. The multiplication effect of gratitude is both psychological and practical. Psychologically, when we train our minds to appreciate what's already present, we are rewiring our brains to look for positive cues in our environment. Neurological studies show that consistent gratitude practice strengthens neural pathways associated with joy and satisfaction. Imagine your brain as a field of grass. The more you walk along a particular path, the clearer and more permanent that trail becomes. If your path is negativity, comparison, and complaint, then that's the road you'll find yourself on most days. But if your path is gratitude, if you make a habit of noticing the smile of a loved one, the taste of a good meal, the roof over your head, or the chance to breathe another day, then your brain will start searching for and amplifying those things automatically. That's where the multiplication begins. On a practical level, gratitude changes how we interact with others, which in turn multiplies blessings in ways we might never expect. When you live with gratitude, people notice. They see that you're not constantly complaining, not constantly focused on scarcity, but instead radiating a sense of peace and appreciation. That energy attracts more people into your life who want to support you, help you, and work with you. It creates stronger relationships because others feel valued when you express gratitude for them. Think about the power of a simple thank you at work. A colleague who feels recognized and appreciated is more likely to help you again, to invest in your success, and to collaborate effectively. Gratitude multiplies cooperation, trust, and goodwill. In family, gratitude transforms the environment from one of expectation to one of appreciation. When children grow up hearing a thank you and seeing gratitude modeled, they learn to see the world not as a place that owes them something, but as a place that continually offers gifts. Whether in friendships, opportunity, or even in challenges. In marriages and partnerships, gratitude keeps love alive by preventing complacency. Instead of taking your partner's actions for granted, you notice them, thank them, and this creates a cycle where both people feel cherished. Over time, these small acts multiply into a relationship built on mutual respect and deep affection. But gratitude doesn't just multiply emotional blessings. It multiplies tangible outcomes too. When you approach your goals with gratitude, you see opportunities where others see obstacles. You recognize progress where others see only how far they have left to go. This mindset fuels resilience. A grateful athlete sees the value in every practice session, even the tough ones, because they appreciate the growth happening in the moment. A grateful entrepreneur sees lessons in failures rather than only losses, and those lessons multiply their chances of future success. The blessings come not because gratitude is some magical formula, but because gratitude shifts your focus, your effort, and your resilience in ways that naturally lead to better outcomes. There's also a spiritual dimension to gratitude multiplying blessings. In many traditions, it is said that the more thankful you are, the more you are entrusted with. Gratitude sends out a signal that says, I recognize the value of what I already had. When you recognize value, you become a good steward of your life and resources, and you are giving more to steward. It's like watering a plant. If you water and tend to it, it grows and produces fruits. But if you neglect it, it withers. Gratitude is the water that multiplies the harvest of blessings already planted in your life. Gratitude also multiplies your inner strength in times of adversity. Life is not free of challenges. In fact, struggle is often a part of growth. But when you carry gratitude with you, even hardship carries within its seeds a blessing. You begin to see struggles as lessons, setbacks as setups for comebacks, and pain as the birthplace of resilience. That shift doesn't make the hardship disappear, but it multiplies the strength, patience, and faith you can draw from the situation. The person who practices gratitude in the storm finds blessings in the rain, while the one who only complains is blinded to any good that might still be present. Let's take a personal example. Imagine losing a job. At first glance, it seems like only loss. But a person grounded in gratitude might reflect, I'm thankful I gained skills and experience there. I'm thankful I have my health and I still have the ability to work. I'm thankful for the relationships I built while in that position. That mindset doesn't erase the difficulty, but it creates space for new opportunities. Gratitude keeps the heart open, and in that openness, new doors appear. Perhaps losing that job leads to a better career or pushes the individual to start their own business. The gratitude multiplies the blessings by refusing to let loss be the final word. Another way gratitude multiplies blessing is through perspective. When we live with appreciation, we stop measuring life only by what we accumulate and start valuing life for what it is. That simple shift multiplies our sense of satisfaction. Two people can live in the same circumstances, but the grateful person will experience life as abundant, while the ungrateful person will experience it as lacking. Gratitude doesn't change the external reality, but it changes the internal reality. And that's what makes all the difference. The ripple effect of gratitude also cannot be overstated. When you practice gratitude, you don't just bless yourself, you inspire others. A grateful teacher changes the classroom atmosphere. A grateful leader transforms the workplace. A grateful parent shapes a household of joy. These ripples extend further than we can see, multiplying blessings in the lives of people we may never meet. The kind word you share, the appreciation you express, the gratitude you embody could encourage someone else to pass it on, creating a chain reaction of blessing that extends far beyond you. Ultimately, the power of gratitude is that it is generative. It creates more of itself. Every time you give thanks, you uncover another reason to give thanks. Every time you express appreciation, you see another thing worthy of appreciation. That cycle is endless because life itself is filled with countless blessings, big and small, waiting to be acknowledged. The multiplication never stops because gratitude itself is infinite. The more you look for it, the more you find it. The more you find it, the more you experience joy, peace, and fulfillment. So when we say gratitude multiplies blessing, it's not just a feel-good slogan. It's a truth that touches every area of life. Our minds, our relationships, our goals, our resilience, our spirituality, and even the legacy we leave behind. Gratitude takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. It turns little into enough, enough into abundance, and abundance into overflow. If you want to change your life in one thought, start with gratitude. Because from that one thought, blessings will multiply in ways you never imagined.